street kids versus sheltered kids. How were you raised? Two kids can grow up in the same city, same decade, maybe even same block, and still grow up in completely different worlds. And years later, both grown men are still trying to figure out which parts made us stronger and which parts quietly broke us. We're going to delve into this serious episode right now. All coming up next on a very therapeutic Gentleman's Hour.
Get the shovel, dog. We're digging in deep.
Oh,
Hit the intro, bro.
hey, that was good because you caught me. I thought you were going to say, like, we're digging our graves. You know what I mean? Like, that was good. Digging in deep.
I got one foot in the grave and one foot outside.
Oh, that shit. Okay. Oh, damn. See, I knew that this subject, I knew was going to hit you, Louie, and I knew it's like, see, I can already tell. Just bring out your A+ game. You know, normally you say you're a what are you, a permanent C student or whatever?
I'm a permanent C+, homie.
Not tonight. Tonight you just made AP, brother. AP honors.
AP Gentleman Hour?
Yeah. All right. So first off, typically we jump into, first sip, but instead let's do the first sip part. Let's do it where we each kind of give a little, just like a little, not gonna be crazy, just a little background on kind of like how you grew up so people can see the difference. Where your parents, their ages. You don't have to get into how crazy how they treated you, all that yet. But like, did you grow up poor? Did you grow up? How many siblings? The basics, brother. And then I'll do the same.
So, first things first. I was actually born in a privileged part of Connecticut.
Oh,
typical blue blood now.
Blue blood.
Born and raised, man, Pacoima, California, 1980. Let's see. I'm the youngest of 9. My dad was 59 years old when I was born. He had 6 kids from a previous marriage. Eventually met my mom. I guess he was part-time single dad. Met my mom, who was single mom with my sister, one of my sisters. And they got married, and together they had me and my sister Rosie. Basically, he just grew up in Pacoima. My dad was a gardener. My mom was a housewife. He retired, I'm going to say probably like when I was 5. And then he kept, I'm going to say maybe a handful of houses up until like maybe when I was like a teenager. So I kind of always want to go work with him. Grew up, we had a house, as far as I remember, they never had a new car. But they had a car. And then I had clothes on my back, food on my table. So I wasn't poor. I would say maybe more we were kind of just broke. Cause like I said, we always had a house. We always had transportation. I never hopped on the bus. So yeah, that's kind of the backstory for that. Just roaming the streets of Pacoima at a young age and trying to make it out, trying to live.
Were you brought up like religious?
I was raised Catholic. I did my baptism. I did my first communion. I went through catechism, and I did my confirmation when I was like 16. So I was Catholic. I think at a certain point, my dad stopped going to church, and my mom picked it up when I started driving. I would take her. It was just her and I. I think my sister Rosie took us when he stopped going, and then she moved out, and then it was just my mom and me, and I would take her, and then I started working like at the movie theater. So it was like there was some days where I had to work Sundays. Actually, pretty much every week was Sunday. So yeah, that's when we kind of stopped and never picked it back up. Yeah.
Okay. So for me, like totally different because I spent a little bit of my childhood in Sylmar, but primarily I was up in the Antelope Valley, fifth grade, I believe. Um, so, those are your formative years, especially as a boy, So I grew up in Antelope Valley. At that time, like right now, it's probably majority Hispanic now up here, but back then it was probably no lie, probably 98% white, bro. And then Mexicans were probably 0.8%, and then blacks were probably 0.1, and then Asians 0.1. So it was like if you saw any person of color, it was like, oh shoot, like salute, hey, what's going on? But so that's where I grew up. My parents, just typical. I would definitely say we were, middle class. My mom and dad both, made, pretty decent money. So we were able to, up here it's a lot cheaper too, but we were able to afford a house and a pool. So I would definitely say middle class. There were times when, of course, every family had issues with money or could go broke or whatever. Not broke, but, of course, stuff gets tight. But I would say overall, I never, until they got divorced, it was never really like an issue. So I felt like privileged, you know what I mean? As far as I had I'm the oldest. I had one sister, just us two. Sister's like three years younger than me. And I was always, we were always right as kids, like with our cousins. So on my mom's side, I was really close to them because a lot of them were up there already. And then on my dad's side, I was probably, honestly, when I was young, probably equally as close because we would always go down the valley a lot and we go, Davies. I remember hanging out with Michael and Georgie when we were kids, going camping, all that stuff. So um, definitely a lot of like family growing up. As far as religion, kind of the same thing like you. Like I went to Catholic school, so that's also why I felt privileged. From the time fifth grade on, I was in Catholic school up here. So, um, well, we were, even though we went to Catholic school, our family wasn't religious, like my mom and dad. My grandmother was, and so I think that's why we used to go to church with her. But after she passed away, we kind of it just kind of stopped. My mom, I would still say, is very religious, but she just doesn't go to church, and it's hard for her to get there. I should take her. I had brought it up before, but it just kind of, we never did it. I wanted to last summer when my daughters were home, but we never did. So maybe this summer, if she wants to, we can start that up again. But that's kind of my story. So definitely a difference between Antelope Valley and Pacoima. You're all around, amongst Mexicans. It's, how you said growing up, kind of in the hood. It's poor. And it wasn't like I was in a rich neighborhood, but, it was definitely at that time, it was considered like where we grew up on the west side. Yeah, actually, it's still nice over there, but it was like a new neighborhood, so it was like there was no issue. There wasn't even barely any crime up here at that time. It seems like not like now, but, all right, so that was kind of so now people got a little background, a little differentiate. We are coming from different, places, different probably perspectives or whatever. So you will see how it affects our answers on our childhood. All right, let's start. Of course, hey, how do we start? Always, Louis. We gotta get them wet, brother. We gotta get them
Get them wet.
Get them wet with some warm up questions. So, describe your childhood in one word, if you can. Can Louis? Do you have one word to describe your childhood?
Probably the easiest, most accurate would be eventful.
Oh, really? Okay.
Whether it was good or bad, I mean, there was always something going on. Yeah, it was
right. There's it's always something pop active, huh?
Yeah.
For me, like, comfortable. Like, I don't know. I feel like
good.
I always had a good, and I don't. Yeah, that is good because I always felt safe. I always felt comfortable. How you were saying, when you grow up in Pacoima, sometimes you don't always feel safe or whatever. I never not had that feeling of like safety or, you know what I mean, till I got older or whatever. But yeah, I would say that comfort. What about this, Louis? Do you have one memory or a favorite kind of memory or place from your childhood that pops into your head when you think your childhood?
I think probably the quickest when I read this question, because I like try to jump. Oh, let me see what's relevant. But I think the one that dominates is rolling around in the backseat of my dad's Dodge Dart, bro. When he was, we'd be going places. Like you just be, it's a trip because like I can visualize sitting in that back seat because at a certain point I was almost like an only child because my
Oh,
sister
so
went to
so.
college and she was working and you know what I mean. So and we're 10 years apart. So when she's doing all that, I'm still like 10, 11 years old. And I remember sitting in the back seat. I had my Walkman on. I would just be chilling. And that car had such a smooth ride. It would like glide,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then the back seat was like a couch. The front seat was like a couch. So I'm like sitting back there by myself. And my dad was a crazy driver. He was very, very heavy on on the gas pedal, heavy on the brake.
Yeah.
And he just drove everywhere, bro. Everywhere around the valley. We'd go visit people. We'd go pick stuff up. And then it's crazy because he would pull over. Oh, look, check that out and whatever. Like toss it in the trunk, and we just toss stuff that
Oh,
people were throwing out. Like he was. Oh, I mean, I guess that's just embedded in him from being a gardener. But yeah, I
yeah,
would say
yeah,
that
yeah,
for
yeah. Oh wow,
yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah. Were you even wearing a seatbelt, or you were just were there even seatbelts in
I
there?
was, yeah, I was.
Oh,
I
okay,
mean, there was
okay,
seatbelts, but
okay.
it was
All right.
optional. At a
But
certain point,
that,
they didn't really like. They didn't check on me like, "Hey, put your seatbelt on."
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. But that's crazy. That kind of like that's what pops in your head. But you're right.
Yeah,
That
yeah, right off the
that's
bat, that's
your
the first thing that came to me.
yeah. Shoot, I don't think I have one. Like childhood favorite memory from my childhood for me, and it's yeah, it definitely has to be this. I would say being a boy and active, the funnest thing or the thing that popped in my head from my house was my our basketball court in the backyard. Me and my sister were out there riding scooters. I was always trying to ride a skateboard, but I couldn't. But we were out there playing. We'd play dodgeball. When the cousins would come over, we'd play. When my friends, any and all my friends played basketball. As soon as they get over, hey, and we just play all night long. Me and my dad, that was the way we kind of bonded. Is on his days off, we'd go back there and play one on one. So it was like for me as a young boy, even kind of yeah, all through high school we still using all that, but especially when I was really young, I just always remember being outside and playing on that basketball court, even if it wasn't basketball, doing something, on that cement slab. So I would say that's for me. Okay, how about this? How about this? Do you have a song or maybe an artist that reminds you that pops in your head when you think of your childhood?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Cypress Hill. Um,
Oh, right.
Probably the whole first album. The whole first album, Cypress Hill. I remember I bought it at the Tower Records in Panorama City, bro. I don't even think people know there was a Tower Records in Panorama City. I must have
Yeah.
been, I think 11 or 12. I don't remember when that album came out. And I talked my sister into taking me, and she's like, "Yeah, we'll go. We'll take whatever." She's like, "Do you want me to get off?" I was like, "No, I'm just gonna go in and out. I already know what I want." Okay, fine. So I went in, and the guy looked at it, and it had the parental advisory sticker, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
he goes, "Who's with you?" I said, "Oh, my mom's in the car." I said, "You want me to go get her? She's kind of cranky. She's gonna be pissed. She's probably gonna yell at us, blah 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 blah, because she doesn't like to get off the car." He said, "No, don't worry about it. But she's here." I go, and I told him, I said, "How else would I get here? Right? It was
Right, right.
like a Monday night." I'm like, "Bro, I'm not driving." So I gave him the money. I walked out, and my sister didn't even ask me what tape it was. It was like cool, because it was a cassette, right? Because I had a Walkman, and that was the
Yeah.
very first like actual album that I got like as a that had bad words, and I remember it was
Yeah,
while
yeah,
smoking
yeah.
weed, and
Yeah.
yeah,
That is funny, bro. That's dope. You sounded like, remember Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone? Remember where he has to go shopping for himself, and the lady's like,
yeah. Well,
are
that's what I'm
you
saying. Maybe
here
that's where I
alone?"
picked it up, bro. I probably picked it up from that.
Yeah. Are you here
Yeah,
alone? No, my mom's in the car. You think I would come here by myself? Who would let a kid? Yeah, that's
yeah.
funny,
Like
bro.
what the hell?
Okay. Shoot, that's dope. For me, and this is weird because it's not like I still like these songs, but it's not like they're my favorite or it's my favorite group or anything. Well, when I think of my childhood, the first thing that pops into my head as far as music is Air Supply, bro. And the reason is because my mom used to like it, so she played it. I
So she used to
think
play the hell out
I'm
of it.
I'm just gonna assume. I don't think my dad cared. He was just whatever. But I think my mom used to. But also, I remember at the AV fair up here, she got us tickets to go see him, Air Supply, and I remember that was my first time. I mean, my first concert. That's not like a real concert at the fair, but still, that was like my first time
No, I
seeing,
mean,
that
I think
you
it
actually
is.
know, like that, like what? Like that was my first time actually seeing a group sing live of music that I actually own or I know. I have the cassette or whatever. So I was like, oh, this is the. And I've seen Air Supply. I've seen Air Supply probably 3 or 4 times. Always at the AV fair. So that always pops in my head. Antelope Valley,
I'm
the
all out of
fair.
love.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you.
So
I'm
lost
so lost
without you.
without you.
Oh, hey, maybe I
The other
do.
one, what's the other one?
Which one?
Making love out of nothing. That's them, right?
Making love out of
Nothing at all.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, right.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, dog.
Hey, but you
low-key,
know
bro,
what's
those songs hit.
That's what I say. And you know what's crazy is like that one album. I think it's just the one album they ever had,
It
but
has all those.
you could play it. You could play it all the way through. Like it's. I think maybe there's one song where I'm like, fast forward that.
I'll skip
The whole
intro.
album is a banger, bro. Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, that's funny. Okay. All right. How about this? How about a movie?
This movie actually, bro, I can watch it anytime of day, anytime of night. Doesn't matter if I put it on and it's like halfway, if it's near the end, if it's in the beginning. And every time I watch it, Laura gets mad. She's like, "Oh, you're watching that again." And you know what I tell her? I tell her, "It's not my first or my last."
Well, what's there to say? It's not my first or my last.
La Bamba, bro, for sure. Yeah, La Bamba, for sure.
I was gonna say that one too. I thought it was yeah. Okay, I was gonna say that one too, but I thought it was when I was that was when I was a kid too. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Dang, that's a good one. Okay, that did pop into my head. For me, it's hard because crap. You know what? I'm gonna go with Rocky 4 because I think I watched that one a little bit more.
Hell yeah.
But it was either Rocky 4 or Karate Kid. But Rocky
4
4, bro. Rocky 4, and then when Apollo died, like it takes you through all the emotions, bro. Like up.
Nice to step in and he's strong across the ring. Throw it down.
If he dies.
Down, up, down, and then that last fight, bro. That last fight lasts like an hour. Have you ever seen anybody? And then they were knocking the crap out of each other. You remember when Rocky finally first cuts him, and they're like,
Cut! He's cut! Russian's cut! Bad cut! And now it's Rocky Balboa coming after Ivan Drago.
he's cut. The Russian is cut. And then in the corner of the back, you see, he's not a machine. He's a man.
See? He's not a machine! He's a man!
He's not a machine. Oh,
the black ball guy.
Yeah, the black ball dude. He's
like, yeah, you got him. You cut him. He's not a machine. He's a man.
Yeah. Oh, bro, I used to watch. I think I watched that like during the summer. Definitely, I would watch it every day. I had it on a little VHS. I probably taped it off of HBO or something. But
hey, I'm gonna get a poster, bro. A Rocky 4 poster.
Oh, bro. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah,
that would be sick, bro. Desiree's not gonna like it though. I put it right there in the front room, right over the mantle.
Hey, put it on the front door, bro. If you walk in.
No way. Oh, that is cool. Oh, that is cool though. Damn, that's perfect for the garage, huh? All right. You get it. I'm not gonna steal your idea.
You get it. Tell me how it goes.
Unless you're okay with it.
You know what that movie taught me though too?
Which one?
Is that no matter what, bro, no matter who you are, no matter where you are in the world, that whatever, you don't listen to your wife, bro.
Oh, because she said you can't win.
Yeah.
It's suicide. You've seen him. You know how strong he is. You can't win.
And then I feel all sad.
Like,
or he gets in the car and takes off. And
he gets in that 300, no?
Yeah. Oh, the 300Z, is it? Yeah.
And he's just jamming. I don't remember the song, but that soundtrack is fire too,
bro.
Fire.
Man, you put that soundtrack on, I'll run through a wall right now, bro. I don't give a.
That's the epitome of 1980s like action movies, bro.
Yeah.
Blockbuster movies. That.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. Everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite, bro. All right, thank you.
And just kidding, I do listen to my wife. Shout out, Laura.
Shout out. Yeah. Come on. All right.
Come on,
all right, we're gonna that was good. We got our feet wet, but you know what? We gotta start getting deep, bro. Let's get deep. What age do you think childhood ended for you?
I think childhood ended when I started working at the movie theater, because I remember I one thing that was always instilled in me was work ethic.
Good. Yeah.
And when I got that job, they told me, and my mom and dad were like, you go there and you do your best and you don't complain and blah 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 blah. So I thought, oh, okay, cool. And they were scheduling me for stuff, bro. And like, I remember working on Thanksgiving, closing on Thanksgiving and opening on like Black Friday.
Movies never closed, huh?
Yeah, bro. And I'm like, oh. And I remember thinking, like, man, everybody's at home eating turkey. I'm over cleaning a movie theater and it's empty, bro. Like,
right. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, why am I here? And then that's when I was like, dude. And then, I think there was one day where I think I got off at 11 on Christmas Eve. And I got home. And then there's a picture of me. I'm wearing my white shirt, my black pants, right? Because I'm like, I just walked in. And everybody's chilling in the living room. Like, man, like, and I didn't even change or shower. I just kicked it like that.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, dude, like that. I think that's probably when I'm like, dude, I'm not a child anymore. I'm not an adult, but I'm not a child. Yeah.
Right. No, you're working on Christmas Day or New Christmas Eve, whatever.
Christmas Day.
You're an adult.
I'm missing parties and on Easter.
Yeah. That was like the hardest thing for me too. Just a little side, when I first got my first job is that like, you actually have to work on days where it's like, no, but all my buddies are over here at this part. Like, what are you talking about? I have to work. You know what I mean? Like, my parents like, no, man, you can't call in. You can't do that. You gotta, you made a commitment. They hired you. They pay you money. You got to go. It's like, what the, like, this isn't cool. This is the real world. All right. For me, when do I think childhood? I would say that's a good one, the movies, because I'm not going to say my childhood ended there, but it definitely
took a hit,
took it to another level after the movies. But I would say for me, for me, childhood was fun and like innocent. And I would say for me, that kind of went away like high school. Like high school was fun. High school was cool. But then there was like more drama in high school. You get tired of your friends. There was a lot of partying and crazy stuff happening. So I kind of like felt like it was no longer, and I mean, I was always like girl crazy shit. I came out of that womb, Louis. I came out of that womb scope hunting.
You came in the womb trying to go back in, huh?
Yeah. No, I was trying to get out in that world, bro. I was wasting daylight, brother. So that was where like the kind of the innocence went away from me. Is when I went to high school. Like it was even like sports was fun. And as you're a kid and it's just like, whatever you get, you get a snack pack after the game. All of a sudden you're in high school and it's like you let your team down and people are pissed at you and you feel like you let your whole school down. It's just
throwing eggs at you as you're walking away.
It's just like, and then grades are more serious and you got to, my mom always preaching college, it was just like all of a sudden it was like, shit, I actually feel like pressure, there's no, what's your biggest worry when you're a kid? You know what I mean? You have no worries, I mean, maybe, but like, little stuff, like your biggest worry is just like, am I going to get to go out and play with my friends on Friday or Saturday? You know what I mean? Like, you don't give a crap. You got no responsibility. But high school is when that first kind of responsibility hit that I can remember. Like, oh shoot, this is getting a little. This whole life thing's getting a little serious.
It's a little heavy.
Yeah, heavy. Exactly. Were you allowed to be emotional growing up?
I mean, obviously no, because I was a boy, and boys don't cry, and there's no reason for you to feel that way, and it's kind of like they don't validate it. I guess it's more like frowned upon.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna say no, not at all.
Okay.
I mean,
so
I think it wasn't encouraged. It was more discouraged.
Okay.
Like, no, you can't. Yeah, right. You're a boy. Why are you? Stop crying. Why are you crying?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm guilty of when I was, with my son when he was young, doing that. When initially, like, stop crying. Why are you crying? Why? And then I started realizing as you get older, like that's exactly what I didn't like. Them telling me, why can't I cry? I'm hurt. I want to let it out. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it was you couldn't. It's more that you shouldn't.
Yeah, there you go. You go. Yeah. Cry. I don't remember seeing any adults, like males, cry. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, I don't mean either.
Right.
I
Okay.
mean, my kids see this male crying all the time.
Hey, throw on Avengers, right?
Yeah, throw on La Bamba, fool. Come on.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Sleepwalking.
How about this? What makes you cry harder, La Bamba or Selena?
Oh, La Bamba for sure.
Okay.
Because Selena is only at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, Selena's
Oh,
only at the
okay.
end. La Bamba is like, I think I get teary eyed when they first announce it and she's hanging the sheets.
Oh God.
Not Richie! Not my Richie!
Right? And I'm like, oh my God. And then the whole Richie thing, the cemetery thing, when Donna's crying, I'm like, dude, it's just like after that everything goes to crap.
Oh,
Yeah,
when Donna's crying in the school, huh?
yeah.
Because she
And with
hasn't
Selena,
heard yet.
it's just when they're doing the announcement, Tejano singer Selena was found,
Right.
whatever. And then the little ring drops out of her hand.
The one in Selena that gets me is when they start. I don't know if it's the dad or I think all of them, but they start crying in the hospital when you see the doctor come in and like tell them. You don't hear what he's saying or anything, but you just see him break down.
But
that's the
know,
one. Yeah,
the
that's the one.
story,
But
bro.
but you're right. La Bamba is just they spread it out like, and then remember Bobo jumps over the fence to go run and hurry and tell her. And he gets there and he's like, "Oh, Charity," and then they hug and she's like, "Why or
Why
not
my
my
Richie?
Richie?" Yeah.
My Richie, why couldn't it have been you, Bob?
But that's what she was. That's effed up because we love Bobo, but that's what she was
I
thinking.
love
That's
Bobo, but
that's
he's a
not
turd.
cool. Yeah. All right. Do you feel your house was peaceful or tense growing up?
It was an odd balance of both.
Really? Okay.
It was peaceful because obviously my dad was old when I was young,
Mhm.
and my mom was very very old school, very housewife, where like whatever my dad said went. So at a certain point, it was just quiet in the house. I'm the youngest, so there's no pitter patter of any other little kids. Maybe my
Oh
niece
yeah.
Angie and Valerie from my sister Miguel every now and then because they were there, but it was that. But it was also tense because growing up with an old dad, he has a lot of crankiness. He has a lot of stuff that
Oh.
he doesn't agree with. He doesn't agree with my music because my music was too. That's not real music, because he was a musician. And, they're just saying words, and who knows what they're saying? Bad
Right.
words.
Right.
And my mom and dad never really fought too crazy. I mean, they argued, and every now and then he would say some stuff that it was kind of like, wait, what's going on? Why are you getting like that?
Right.
And my mom was very more like reserved, like, okay, she would say, say what you're gonna say, and she would go to her room or she would go start cleaning the kitchen, and that was like my cue to exit. Like, let me go jump on my bike, I'm out,
Yeah.
and come back whenever it was time for dinner or whatever. Like, that's just that's kind of where it was on a daily basis, because I think, like I said, they were very old. Well, my dad was very old. My mom wasn't old, but they weren't like actively asking me questions like, hey, do you need help with homework? They're not gonna help me. Do you whatever? So they kind of let me be, and I kind of like I said, I'm very very chill. So it's like that's kind of the vibe for the whole house. But also, like, you do have the little things about my dad being old, and maybe they were tipping on money. Maybe something broke and he had to fix it, and I had to go help him.
Right.
So stuff like that, obstacles, I guess.
Yeah. For me, I would say it was peaceful. I don't even remember I remember my parents fighting, but not that much. It was always just like dumb little stuff, and they would get heated, and then they would be over it pretty quick. I don't remember them too crazy that many fights. So, and my dad worked so much that like he wasn't even home that much because he would get home at like 8:30 to 9 every night, and he'd be gone at 8 a.m. every night. So it was like, so we never saw him till he got home. So there wasn't, it wasn't opportunity. He wasn't mad or trying to, he was, he was, he wasn't there. He was at work. He was working. So, and my mom was very like easygoing and just kind of chill. He was too. He was pretty. They were both chill. So I would say peaceful. Definitely definitely not tense. How about this one? Did you feel safe growing up?
I felt safe inside my house.
Mm-hmm.
Being out on the street, sometimes I was a little weary about certain things, certain neighborhoods.
Was that by yourself though, or even with your parents, you still felt Like, say
No,
you're
by
walking,
myself.
say you're
Yeah, by
okay,
myself.
no, but say like with your parents. So say you're 10 and you're around town. Did you feel like, oh, I'm with my parents, I'm safe from whatever, or did you feel a
Yeah,
little
for the
like,
most part, yeah, because I mean, um, to be honest with you, a lot of stuff was like if we went to the store, my dad drove, but he didn't go inside.
uh-huh,
So a lot of times they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Kmart." Okay, cool. And we'd pull up in Kmart, and then he would tell me like, "You want to stay here? Or you want to go with your mom?"
oh,
All right,
okay,
yeah, I'll go with my mom. Cool. Or we're gonna go to the market. Every time I went to the market, I had to go because I had to help her because we
yeah,
used to have to like bag our groceries or just put stuff in the car, put stuff out of the cart. Home Depot was more him and I. Like we would, I mean, we didn't really go out a lot. It was like, we went to parties or we went to go buy stuff that we needed, but it wasn't like we weren't going places for leisure. Like we wouldn't go to the
yeah,
park.
right,
You know what I mean? If we
right,
would go to the park if he was gonna go watch somebody play like baseball, he
yeah,
was big on
yeah,
the Sunday league baseball.
okay,
Um, but like to say let's go to the park just to go
Y-
have a
y-
picnic, like nah,
yeah,
that wasn't
yeah, yeah,
happening.
okay,
So for the yeah, if I was out with them, I felt safe, but also we were in places kind of like that. It wasn't,
okay,
you
you
know,
weren't,
we
yeah,
weren't
yeah,
we
yeah,
weren't taking vacations. We weren't going on family trips. So yeah,
yeah, and you said you felt safe in the home
yeah, I
too.
did. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, for me, yeah, I mean, when we felt safe in the home, we were in a brand new neighborhood, quiet, nice. There was definitely no issues. And then as far as in the Antelope Valley at that time, yeah, safe as, I mean, I used to walk home from school, like, and we used to walk to my mom's, and that was the only hood in Lancaster at the time where she kind of worked, and we used to walk right through it, bums asking us for money and stuff, or me and my sister right through it to her work, or we take the public bus home, like an hour, because bus stop and whatever. But, because we lived pretty far from where I went to school. So, and still never, the worst thing that happened, I remember on the bus this one time, it was so packed, I was standing. And all of a sudden, like my ass started like, what the heck? Like shocked kind of or something, like something hit me or something, but sharp, and like, I'm like, what is that? I turn around and look like, who's doing something? Nothing. Everyone's acting like this. And my sister saw the whole time. She told me later, but never did like tell me or like, oh, it's this girl, whatever. So I turned back around again. What do I feel? A little, what the heck is that? I turn around. This chick, some high school chick, had a lit cigarette and she was burning a hole through my pants, and it literally burnt a hole through my pants. She was burning me, bro. She was burning me, and my sister was sitting right there and saw it. And when I turned around, like, who? I didn't know she was burning me. I just thought someone was poking me or something, and that bee was burning me. I had two little. It's actually pretty cool, man. It makes perfect little holes. But anyways, but yeah, I always felt safe over there. How would you consider your upbringing? Were you spoiled, ignored, protected, or pressured? Maybe it's a combo of them, or maybe it's just like one, or
I
maybe
think
it's none.
I think it's a combo of all of them, right? If you ask my
Okay.
dad,
Oh yeah, yeah.
my dad will tell you that I was spoiled because I had him in my life
Oh yeah, yeah.
all
You
the time,
mentioned that before. Yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay, whatever. I'll take that. I felt maybe I would. Like, I don't know if I was ignored, but I mean, like I said, I was never asked, "Do you need help with schoolwork?" But it's not,
Right.
it's not their fault because they couldn't help me.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it falls on my sister Rosie because I'm sure she didn't need any help because she's smart, bro. She's freaking smart. So I'm sure she didn't need any help. So they're probably like, "Oh, this, why if she can do it, why we don't, whatever."
Right. Right. Right.
And it
Right.
just it's supposed to carry over, and I mean, it carried over to a certain extent because I am somewhat smart, but I didn't, So I mean, if you I could classify that as ignored, but I maybe not.
Right.
And then protected, I was overprotected on certain points because they kept me on a tight leash
Okay.
into my older years, my teenage years, where they're like, I had a curfew and I had to be home. And like I said, bro, I'm a rule follower. So if you tell me 10 o'clock, bro, I'm pulling in at 9:58.
Even as a kid,
Yeah, because
Wow.
I was always scared of consequence, bro. I don't know. I've kind of always been that way.
Yeah.
It's bit me in
Wow.
the ass a million times, bro, because not everybody that's a rule follower gets, certain things. There's a lot of fools that break the rules and they get away with it.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, like, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to, but whatever.
What?
And like I said, that's part of also.
Nice guys finish last, remember?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like I said, I'm very passive,
Right.
so I'm not gonna complain. Oh, okay, whatever.
Right,
I did what I was supposed to, and
yeah.
I still, I got the shaft, but whatever.
Yeah.
And what was the last one?
Pressured.
Pressured. Pressured maybe just on like I said, like I've told you on other episodes is I just knew I couldn't get an F.
Oh, okay, right.
So I was kind of like, that was my pressure, was I needed to be subpar, which is harder than you think, bro. You know what I mean? It's harder than you think. It sounds easy to a lot of people.
Because then you do too little and you're in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too little, and I was like, oh, now I'm dropping into the D's or the F's. But
it's hard to do right.
Maybe self-pressured, but not my parents didn't really pressure me. They just knew, like I said, they don't want to address anything.
Right.
So they would tell me, like, you better not get any F's. You better do your work. Okay, cool.
Yeah, damn.
But as long as I don't get an F, you're not saying anything.
Right.
My report cards, they weren't looking great, but.
Well, I thought that was funny when you said on the last show with my cousin where you were like, as long as they didn't have to go to no parent conference.
Yeah. As long as they didn't get a phone call, no parent conference, or any Fs. Those were the three. Like,
those are the worst.
The trifecta of my success.
Gotta go in for a damn parent conference. I don't want to go in there. Why do I gotta go? Yeah. All right. Okay. For me, and this is crazy because your dad says you were spoiled just over the fact that he was in your life, that you had two parents. That was considered spoiled. Me, I was definitely spoiled, but I spoiled in like a material way. You know what I mean? I basically had both parents my whole childhood. My parents split up when I was already right out of high school. But to me, spoiled, I don't consider being spoiled because I had two parents. I'd be considered being spoiled because they gave me, I'm not gonna say I was rich, but I, for the most part, kind of like how I am with my kids. Like if they want something, I'm gonna go out of my way to try to get it for them. And
to make
most
it
of the time, they did it. So I felt definitely, I didn't feel it at the time, but now looking back, like, oh shit, yeah, I was spoiled. But then if I was spoiled, if that was considered spoiled, then my kids are on a whole new level of being, of having been spoiled. My daughters aren't spoiled anymore. Well, I mean, I guess you could say anytime you help them out, you could say it's kind of
maybe
spoiled,
they're not spoiled. They might be pampered.
Yeah, maybe it's like that. Yeah,
it drops a little bit.
Yeah, because they both work, and of course, me and my mom are paying for their school or trying to pay for most of their school, but like as far as like living and day to day, they both work. They pay their own stuff. My other one daughter has to actually pay her own rent. So they are, they're not spoiled, but they were just kind of spoiled, brought up, like got whatever they wanted. So yeah, that's spoiled. As far as ignored, no, I never felt ignored. Protected, yeah, I always felt protected, actually, by both of them. And then pressured. I put pressure on myself, like especially in sports. I always felt like if I let everybody down. And then as far as pressured from my parents, I would just say my mom for like school, and it wasn't even that crazy pressured. You know what I mean? It was kind of like you. I think she kind of knew, like, this kid ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, so I'm not gonna push him. I'm not gonna push him for A's like I do his sister, who I could tell is smart. So I think she was kind of like, as long the same kind of thing. If I just got C's, I don't remember her saying, like, oh, that, that's bad, you need to do better. It was kind of like, okay, all right, you could do better, but okay, I don't remember her getting mad at me. Now, if I got D's or F's, yeah, that's where she would let me have it.
Yeah, but that's hard though.
What?
That's hard though, like, because like you said, like I think as a parent, like you have to find a balance on how much to push.
Right.
You can overwhelm a kid and they might shut down.
Yeah,
you can overwhelm 100%. Another kid and they might thrive. You know what I mean? It's a fine line.
100%, sure. Definitely a fine line. And I think she just always pushed school. So even though, I mean, you have to know, I'm not going to say she thought I wasn't smart, but I mean, some kids, like both of my daughters got different grades. One got a lot higher. One was like 4.0 and the other one was close, but like below her. But I didn't think that daughter was not as smart as her. It's just like, okay, she's better at school. The other one's better at others. Like, you know what I mean? It does. I don't always think grades is a reflection, or being book smart is always a reflection of, being smart, because you can
Of
be smart
intelligence.
in other ways. You know what I mean? You look at some people that can put stuff together just by looking at it. I can figure it out. That's smart. Like, maybe you're not book smart, but that is in your world, that's smart. You know what I mean? So I
You're
think
inclined
it's
in different
right.
different levels. Yeah.
Right. And I give respect to everybody that, goes through college and does all that, because that is hard too. It's not easy. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah. So my mom always pressured in terms of like school, but she never really pressured me as far as like I had to excel. It was just always like, you got to go to school.
But see,
I
it
want
worked.
you to
It
go to
worked for
college.
you though.
Yeah, because I think I told you
I
that one
mean-
time, I didn't know any different. Like, I think I have to go to college. I don't know. My dad one time threatened me when I was like, I didn't graduate. I think I told you that, huh? I didn't graduate like when I was supposed to, because I failed a class my last semester. Me and my buddy were just horsing around, and I failed.
Home ec.
And yeah, so I had to go accounting. So I had to go to summer school to get my diploma. But yeah, they always, so they got pissed at me about that at first, and then they kind of just, like accepted it. And like, I remember on her card she gave to me for graduation, it was something like, at first I was pissed and I want to be mad at you, but you know what, hey, we have to accept it, and this is your journey. Doesn't mean you're a failure or whatever. This is just, as long as you get to where you need to get to, everybody's path is different. Something like that. Something corny, but like makes you, like, if I read it now, I'll probably start crying. I have it too.
Yeah.
I have it too somewhere in one of my books or whatever, but that did kind of help, because I did feel like, okay, she is behind me and I'm not a complete F up, because who knows, I might have just maybe quit after that if she was kind of like, all right, well, it is what it is, and didn't ever say anything or still push me. I might have just been like, F it, I'll just become a lifelong usher, bro. Usher at the movies, homie. Get them free
Not even
movie
box office usher.
yeah, free movie benefits for life.
Come
Hell
on, bro.
yeah, bro. But anyway, so yeah. Was there anything your parents constantly said or preached to you?
I think the thing that stands out most would probably be that don't get any Fs. I knew for a fact I had to graduate high school. Like, I knew that wasn't even like that was it. That was, you have to graduate. That's it. But yeah, it would probably be that. Just I think their biggest concern was that they didn't want me to join any kind of gang, and you had to graduate, so don't get any Fs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. If you get a job, you work hard, you do the best you can, and
Yeah. For me, I think the only thing preached was probably my mom, and just same thing, like, because she had went to college, it was like, you guys need to go to college to be successful. So that was kind of preached, I guess. I don't remember. My dad was like, he was like her little backup enforcer in terms of school, but I don't know if he really cared, like, I mean, didn't care about me, but it really cared about, school or whatever, I don't know, but he would get mad if I got bad grades and she got mad, but yeah, I don't know. But for her, I definitely remember it was definitely a school, preaching school. Were you scared of your parents?
I was scared of my mom. My mom was always the enforcer at 100%. So I would go to her for permission. I would go to her for discipline. I would go to her for punishment. I mean, that's kind of what it was. My dad has never laid a hand on me, but I think because of his disability, I think it wasn't part of that deal. I mean, he laid into me verbally for sure. Like, some of the deepest emotional scars are because of his verbal onslaught, bro, for sure.
Verbal attack.
Like it stuff that I can clearly hear in my head.
Dang.
And I remember at the time just feeling like a total piece of ass, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like because, like I said, he's my dad, and he's telling me things that I'm like, man, maybe, like, yeah, like, what is wrong with me? Like, why don't I know how to do this? Why am I really stupid that I don't know how to do this? Because he was mad, bro. He was pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
once I got older, I realized a lot of things. Like it was probably out of frustration on his end. It was
Right,
probably
right.
out of whatever. And it's that whole thing where you expect certain things from people, and then when they don't do it, you're like, oh. And then if you're verbal about it, you're verbal. There's
Right.
some people that'll walk away. They'll remove themselves from the situation.
Yeah.
He wasn't like that. Whatever.
He's gonna.
So it was kind of
yeah.
like it was two different authority figures. And I mean, like I said, my mom was the one that laid her gluing hand down for sure.
Hell
I
yeah,
mean,
gluey. Hey,
to
gluey.
the fat meat, bro. She cut my because she was and she was a younger one, and she was more
yeah,
whatever. And then it's
she
crazy
was-
because
she was game,
I don't
huh?
remember
She was
when,
game.
but one day it just stopped.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
maybe when I got taller, and she was like, "Damn, this fool might mess me up." And
Or it's
obviously I'm
just
not
like-
a violent person. I've never given her a reason to think that I was ever gonna do anything. But I mean,
But
I don't know what's going on through her head.
She probably knew too. It was like, I'm not even hurting this person anymore. You know what I mean?
They're
'cause bigger and
go ahead,
stronger than me.
Do your best.
I was definitely scared of both too. I was probably more scared of my mom because the same exact thing. She was the enforcer. She was the punishment. She was everything. My dad was just her enforcer. You want me to go tell your dad? And sometimes he'd get up and act like he was going to go get his, I'm getting the belt. And then we'd all run, me and my sister would run out. But he never, same thing.
He's
He
tall,
never hit
bro.
me. Yeah. And remember I told you, like, as a kid, he seemed like larger than life.
Yeah, he
like
would probably
big
tower
and-
over you.
Yeah, but he never laid a hand on me either. Same thing. Because we would always run out as soon as he started going for the bell. One time we should have tested him and see, like, hey, will this fool really hit me? But my mom, she had no problem hitting us, and man, that shit used to hurt. I used to hate getting spanked, bro. It was just the worst. But you're right. The psychological damage is probably even worse. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing worse than feeling like your parents almost like hate you. You know, because when they're so mad at you, that's how I felt. Like they're screaming like
That disappointment, bro. For
like
me.
she wants to kill me, you know what I mean? So it's like she doesn't like me. She doesn't like my own mom doesn't like me, you know? And then you're right, thinking of the disappointment or like I let them down and you're going through, you feel guilty, but then you're also mad because I used to get mad when I get hit because that's my instinct. You hit me, I'm mad at you, even though it's like, you know, later I'd be like, yeah, okay, that was on me, I guess, you know. I mean, she'd have to hit me
just
that
burn me
hard,
with
but
cigarettes.
yeah. Some
Those
crazy ass
don't hurt
white
as
chick.
much.
Some crazy ass white chick.
Put
Why
me
you
back
like-
on that bus.
Why are you lighting a cigarette on the bus, bro? Jeez, no rules back then, bro. But yeah, but I was definitely scared of both of them. And then my dad too, like he could yell at me and get pissed, and that would cut. And he wasn't what's the word? Like a man of a lot of words, but like when he did get mad, you get scared, like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He'd start cussing, or I remember he would. He did lay a hand on us. He would pinch us, like when me and my sister were acting up in the backseat. He'd reach back there and pinch us, and it was like, oh, fuck, that's a man.
And
pinch.
that stings, bro. It stings.
Yeah, and I would just like he didn't have to say anything. My mom would be the one, hey, you kids, yeah, you know, whatever. My dad wouldn't say a word, just boom, that big ass arm would go behind the seat and pinch. Ah. And he didn't give an F who he got. If your arm was out there, it's getting pinched, bro. All right. Let's pull back the curtain, Louie, a little. I mean, you've already given a lot of information about what was happening inside the house, but let's get a little further. Let's dig a little deeper. How about this question? Did your parents have any strict house rules?
When I was a kid.
Uncle, I'm sorry, brother. I gotta break in. You guys are all lucky. You're gonna get two for the price of one. So stay tuned for part 2 coming soon.